Voiceover person, most known for films like Clerks, Clerks 2, Chasing Amy, Mallrats, Dogma, Vulgar. Clerks, the animated series. I've done a couple of voices for the Pokemon movie franchise as well. Pikachu! No, I don't do Pikachu. And overall kind of a View Askew icon in Kevin's View Askew universe. Soon to be getting my own podcast as well. A lot of, yes, about time. A lot of people have been saying, I actually had an email, kind of like a weird email from Kevin earlier in the year going, how come Brian O'Halloran doesn't have a podcast? And I was like, because I was waiting for you to ask. No, so I'm in the process right now. As a matter of fact, tonight's show is being recorded to eventually be aired on a podcast, which I've temporarily named, which most likely will stick because I'm hearing positive feedback of the name. It's going to be called the O'Halloran. So it's my name with the letter T at the bottom, O'Halloran. I usually do explain myself in very long rants, and if you know the character of Dante is always ranting against Randall and vice versa, I think it's apropos, right?
Yes, sir. There
was a couple of them thrown around. There was, I'm not even supposed to be here today with Brian O'Halloran. There was Dante's Inferno with Brian O'Halloran. Yes, the I'm 37. And then the one that didn't really fly and was not too long in the mix was, I'm the bitch! If you've seen Jay and Silent Bob, if there was a Star Wars wedding, I'm the bitch! So that's what we have. We have that coming up. Hopefully I'll be developing a comedy web series with some friends of mine about a New Jersey community theater. Kind of would be like The Office, but in a theater, where we're hopefully getting it in pre-production and production hopefully by the fall. And a few other things. And then Kevin has written the script for Clerks 3.
Yeah.
For those who don't follow Kevin's Twitter and his podcast and stuff, he's written it, we've been given the scripts, and now he's in the process of trying to get the distribution and contracts and all that settled. And once we can all be signed on board for it, hopefully I'm thinking the earliest he could probably shoot is February, because soon he'll be starting a film called Christmas with Krampus, which is his creep show Christmas Krampus 4 short story film that he's doing. And this October, he just got done doing all the post work for his film Tusk, which is a really creepy kind of in the same genre vein of Red State kind of movie. It's got Michael Parks and Justin Long involved in it. So that will be coming out in October. So far, any questions, comments, or complaints, please, this is a free, open space. Anybody can shout out or, hands up or whatever. Yeah, Mr. Spider-Man? No? Oh, you're just arranging your seat. Okay. Yes?
What input did you have in the original ending of Clerks?
What input did I have? None. I tried to input, why are you killing him? I didn't like it when I first read it. And he was like, well, that's the reality of these things, man. How ironic it would be for, here it was, he's called in on his day off, he's not even supposed to be there then. And, his boss says, no, I'll be in by a certain time, and he still doesn't come in, and then at the end he gets killed. But just imagine, okay? Let's go with that run. So he gets that, if the film gets popular that way, what was gonna happen for the sequel. Immediately, the police would have questioned Jay and Bob, because they were hanging outside the place all day, dealing drugs. They'd be the first ones to be snatched up and put up against the wall and accused of killing me, right? When you think, if you follow the film, that would be a different spin on the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back movie. It'd be like Jay and Silent Bob hide in prison. You know what I mean? And you know what that means. No. It still can happen. We did wind up in jail in Clerks 2 at one point, and so what happened there? A chainsaw and a pole, man, that's a big ass prop. That's commitment, man.
2 chainsaws.
Yeah, I know, it's 2 chainsaws. Oh, it's the Darth Maul of Ash, I get it. Nice. Yeah.
Earlier you said Clerks 3 was finished writing. Is there any release date or
No, as far as release date, right now we're still trying to work out even just getting it made. So I'm thinking, let's say everything logistically and contract-wise gets done. Obviously, we have to have it done before we shoot. If we shoot the earliest, February, Kevin usually edits as we shoot. What happens is you shoot some footage, they send it away, the dailies come back usually 3 days later, and that footage, which is all the takes, are sent to a shop, and the guy takes all the ones that the script supervisor says, yes, that's the keeper, that's the print, whatever, and sends all those takes back. And then it's just a small bunch of files that Kevin has to assemble that he wants to choose and pick from for what he wants to as the final cut. So Kevin would do that. On Clerks 2, by the time we were 3 days in, one of the first scenes, actually the first scene that we shot for Clerks 2 was the nail painting scene with me and Rosario Dawson. He likes to take the big chunks of dialogue scenes that he shoots out of the way early, so the rest of it's kind of downhill from there. Like in the original Clerks, the first thing we shot was the scene where I dragged Caitlin into the video store and like, what do I hear? What is this I hear about you getting married? You know? And if you watch, that's a 7-minute uncut. There's no coverage. It's just me and her going back and forth for 7 minutes straight. So when we did the nail painting scene, it was that same type of thing. It was a very long back and forth with coverage and stuff, but he wanted to get that long, you know, I guess, type of intimacy out of the way first, which, I don't know, for us being known each other not that long in the rehearsal process, I thought we got along great, and that was the great thing about Rosario Dawson, is she was really, really easy. She was very giving as an actress to really fall in love with her. I mean, I was just like, oh, yes. Do you want me to paint everything? Do you need your bedroom painted? What do you need? I'll paint anything you want. So that was the first thing we did that, and so hopefully, if we get this Clerks 3 up and running, I know I've read the script and there's a lot of dialogue again, because that's his forte. He's no Michael Bay, you know what I mean? There's no like, we gotta set up the big explosive bridge scene. Ooh! Randall's like, did I leave the coffee pot on again? You know, and it's not gonna happen that way. Anyone else, any questions? In the back. Stand up. Stand up and just talk a little loud. I can't tell, I'm legally obligated not to say anything about what Clerks 3 is about. I mean, it picks up not far after the second one ended. And if you, who hasn't seen the second Clerks? Just, all right, so I don't want to spoil it. Okay, that's fine, that's cool. I have it at the table, you can buy it, by the way. Put it on your phone from your queue on your Netflix now. Anyway, the way the second one ends, you know, he doesn't, but the way the second one ends, we pick up not far after that. Don't tell him. Oh, you mean the bloody massacre when you come in there with the machine guns? Oh. Totally tell him something completely different. He's like, what happened to the explosions? I thought they guys go to prison. Yes. Rosario Dawson has agreed to do the third one, yes. Let's just take a moment there for a second. Yeah. Yeah, this is the type of franchise, unlike those fucking Spider-Man people who just put any guy in that role. This is the kind of role where I don't think you could replace us with people. I mean, Seth Rogen could play me, I guess. I mean, he tried to be me and Zach Amiri, and that didn't work out. He was more like playing Jay at that point. Just saying. He's been known to smoke herbal supplements. Smart guy, though. Smart and fucking hilarious guy. Big props to Seth. Yes?
So we know who else that you want to get into the movie? You said Rosario Dawson.
All of the cast that was from the second one who worked at the movies is written into the script. This is where the whole contract signed on, who's not, who's on, but the characters are in the script. They're there. So that core 5, 6, there's Jay, Bob, Dante, Randall, Becky, Elias. They're definitely in the script. Kevin has mentioned that Marilyn Gigliotti, who played Veronica in the first one, is in the film as well, so I guess I could say that as well. So it gets crazy up in here in that script, but it's a lot. There's a lot in this script. Logistically, it is a much bigger script than than even Clerks 2, but I think he's tackled it very, very well, like awesomely, to be quite honest with you. So I can't wait to see, once, like I said, we work out logistics and stuff like that as to what's going on, how this is going to be. Yeah.
Is there any story behind why Randall was wearing the USSR hockey shirt?
Why was Randall wearing the USSR hockey shirt? Because he likes chaos and, you know, anarchy, and if Satan had a hockey team, I think he would be the first one with the t-shirt. Yeah! You know what I mean? Yeah, it was funny, that day that we shot that hockey on the roof scene, I was living up in New Brunswick, New Jersey, which is the the town of the Rutgers University, and I had a couple of friends who were going to Rutgers, and we all shared rented a house off campus. So I was living with them, and that scene, and I was traveling, it's an hour north of where the store is, and I would travel every night after working, because my schedule would be 9 to 5 at this job I worked at. I worked as a sales rep manager for a barware manufacturing firm. And I would get off of work at 5, go home, sleep, get up at 9, shower, shave, get down there an hour later, get ready into makeup, which it was black and white film. I don't know why we did makeup for, but okay. Got into makeup, and then start shooting, and we would shoot from usually about 11 o'clock at night till about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and then help Kevin open up the store, because that was his real job. He was Dante, that was him, you know. So we'd help him open up the store, and then we'd all go back home. I'd get back home around like 7:30 or so, but I'm so wired from drinking Gatorades and burritos all night, because that was our catering. It was the store. It was whatever you wanted in the store, like a small thing of Fruit Loops, you know, Yoo-Hoos, whatever. So I couldn't go back to sleep because I'd have to be at work at 9. And I only worked like 5 minutes from where we lived in New Brunswick. So, and that whole routine, we did it for 23 days. By the end of it, there's a scene that next time you guys watch it, you know, you're smoking a bowl or whatever, and and you watch the scene, and I come back, and I'm ready for the date, and I'm in that fancy, you know, Bill Cosby sweater. You'll hear me, I'm like, and the guy, he's like, oh, I got fined for selling cigarettes, I got ticketed for selling cigarettes to the kid, and he's like, you did? I'm like, oh, I didn't, you did. You'll hear me, I'm like, yeah, and, I got ticketed, yeah, you know, I'm sniffling because I was getting sick from that schedule, and it was just not natural after a while. I know, boo-hoo, you got sick from making a film. But it was, you'll hear the difference, and that's just a little Easter egg if we were doing a DVD thing there. Anyone else? Cool. Yes? No? Yes?
Did you guys drink all the Gatorades?
Do we drink old Gatorades?
Drink all of the Gatorades.
All Gatorade. Oh, sorry, your accent. Do we drink all the Gatorades? At one point, yes, we were out of the Gatorades. So it kind of worked out for that hockey scene. Hey, where are the Gatorades? That's right, you drank them all. You know, the same owners of that actual store still own it today. They literally own the block of stores, as it's really called, Mr. and Mrs. Topper. And people do go in there all the time going, oh my God, holy cow, it is so small. I mean, the store is like maybe twice the size of this stand. That's pretty much it. Who's been to the store? Anybody? All right, it's a good trip. If you ever go up to New Jersey and you're like, well, why the hell would I ever go to New Jersey? Actually, it's worth it. You can go visit the Secret Stash, which is, you know, the centerpiece of AMC's Comic Book Men. Give a round of applause for Comic Book Men. We had Brian Johnson and Ming here this weekend. They were always fun to hang out with. They actually start shooting tomorrow. Monday morning is the start of season 4 for them, which will be airing in October, right after The Walking Dead. I think they air now at like 1:30 in the morning, something like this. Like every year they push them back further back. Soon it'll be like Comic Book Men at 5 a.m. We have 7 straight hours of The Walking Dead. Talking dead, eating dead, sleeping and breathing dead. Martha Stewart's Little Crafts of the Dead. Wake up with the living dead! Weather with Al Roker and the living dead. Am I dragging this joke out a little far? Keep going.
I assure you we're dead.
Raise your hand, you said that. That's good. Round of applause. It's the afternoon news with the living dead. That would be funny. And what about this? It's so funny. Television is so predictable in the sense of once something's a hit of some sort of unique genre, they have to have like 5 or 7 other copies, you know, like Resurrection and, you know, now, you know, Black or Orphan Black. And just now there's so many zombie things. It's like, what is the next thing? You know, what's the next monstery. We had that outbreak of movies where it was all like diseases, you know, like Outbreak and what was it, Contagion, which is a great one, by the way. I really like that one. And other ones. And then it was like aliens are coming, and now we're like back to, you know, rehashing the Star Trek episodes and stuff. What do you think? Clerks 4? Yeah, but we're doing that. That's what I mean. Well, they did. You know, there was that one movie that came out, Waiting. Then you had Office Space, that was about an office. You know, then The Office. You know, there's so many. Whenever I go traveling and I go into a certain service, you know, I get my car fixed or I go and talk to whatever, Home Depot, and I always get that one employee or fan who's like, oh man, let me tell you, your movies are awesome. You guys should shoot a movie about this place. Oh, dude, we got this dude Frank, oh my God. He's so crazy. He's like Jay almost. One time, no, don't tell us. One time, oh yeah, we delivered a toilet. The guy took a dump in the toilet and wasn't hooked up. Is that crazy? And I'm like, oh yeah, I should tell Kevin immediately. You got right in here and write about how you pooped in a toilet that you didn't hook up. Now, could you find the washer I asked you 10 minutes about for? Thanks, buddy. Way to go. And that's the thing I think that people can appeal about those movies, the Clerks movies, is that you've either worked that type of soul-crushing hell job, or you've been to a place where the service was absolutely the worst, where you're like, you're in Best Buy and you don't know what a dial-up modem is? Well, what is wrong with you? Sorry, they were invented when I was still born. So funny. Kids today, I love it. What was the worst? Anybody have the worst customer experience ever, like recently? Yeah, go ahead. What do you got? Make it quick, like 15 seconds or less.
Okay, last year I worked in a call center and
Call center job.
man, so many complainers about moving because if they were a terrible customer, they would have like no stuff, like no hearts, whatever, and
No hearts? What is this, Zelda?
that's how the rating system would go. But they would always complain about paying $200 for moving their DirecTV service to their new home.
Oh, now you named the company. So yeah, I hear you, moving stuff. Yeah, call service jobs are hell. And you went back to school. See, it pushed you back into education.
Now I'm graduating with my first degree in film.
First degree in film.
Yes, and I'm going to work on my bachelor's in the fall.
Right on, man. Don't forget if you need anything. I could use the work. No, make a movie about Zelda, you know, with the hearts. Be like, bloop, bloop, bloop. Yes, sir. What? What library is this? Huh? Oh, was that a college library? Oh, well, that's expected. Wow. That went racist real quick. Zoinks, all I saw was eyes and teeth. Sir, careful. Can't say shit like that. Wow. Blowjob in a library. Talk about reading.